Sioux City Police made it clear today that officers won't stop and detain residents only to determine their residency status.
And it's an attempt to avoid what they call a misunderstanding in light of Trump administration policies on immigration and deportation. KTV's Connor Trent joins us live now from outside police headquarters in downtown Sioux City.
Connor, what is the department's policy on immigration and why are they putting out this message now?
Well, Matt, the Sioux City Police Department, they released a statement earlier today that's saying that they're aware of the current federal statements on immigration enforcement and deportation. Their statement makes it clear that even though Sioux City is not a sanctuary city, as a matter of policy, local officers don't inquire about immigration status when they're dealing with residents. To do so might, the statement said, it could, quote, convince crime victims and witnesses to remain silent or not cooperate with law enforcement officers out of fear. Police says their primary responsibility will always be to enforce Iowa state law and local ordinances. The statement continues saying, quote, officers are not trained to enforce federal laws, nor is it our responsibility to do so. Sioux City police officers will not stop and detain residents only to determine their residency status, end quote. Sioux City PD says that they will continue to target individuals who present a threat to any member of the community, and when appropriate, they will work with federal authorities according to federal law. Sioux City PD also said that they will release a statement in both English and Spanish on their social media platforms tomorrow. But until then, that's it for me right here in downtown Sioux City. Matt and Jess, back to you.
All right, Connor Trent in downtown Sioux City tonight. Connor, thank you for the update.